Hi everybody, welcome back to the Automotive Logistics Red Sofa. We're here in Bonn for ALSC Europe, and I'm joined by two very exciting guests. We're here with Audi's inbound Head of Transport Planning, Dr. Reinhard Baller, and the CEO and co-founder of Helrom, Roman Noack. It's great to have you both here. We heard a bit about your project, the Blocktrain project, and how you've collaborated on that. Could you give us a bit of an introduction on that and tell us a bit more?
Yeah, the project is part of our sustainability roadmap. So roughly 5 years ago, we started our sustainability roadmap, which is called Mission Zero. And by that, we want to reduce our CO2 footprint significantly. And one main part was on the roadmap was this project. So the idea of this project was to connect all the transport volumes between our plants. So we have plants in Győr, Hungary, and also at the south of Germany, Neckarsulm and Ingolstadt, and we wanted to bundle all these transport volumes, and the main part of this transport volume should be handled by train to decarbonize it, yeah, and the pre and the on-grade should be done by a truck service provider. Yeah. And perhaps Roman can give you more details about the project.
Yeah, thank you. And that's exactly where we come in. So the mission of Helrom is to help its clients, its customers, to decarbonize their supply chain. So this work, which Audi did in bundling the volumes, was of course ideal because we come in then to combine both road on the shorter hauls and rail on the longer hauls, laying on the rail on the longer hauls to decarbonize the supply chain by using electric energy, and of course to take advantage of economies of scale by using rail.
Brilliant. And we saw from your presentation, Reinhard, that Audi has been integrating this sort of sustainable transport into its logistics strategy. What are the key milestones for this, and how do you measure success?
Yeah, we have a clear plan implemented for that. We have a clear roadmap. So our goal is to reduce CO2 emissions by 50% until the end of the decade. We have also different measures how to achieve that. So for example, we want to reduce the transport distance. So the best transport is the transport which is not necessary at all. Yeah. So we have started an initiative with our purchasing department to reduce the transport distance. Then we want to increase the share of our train transports to reduce our CO2 emissions. At the end of the decade, we see the e-trucks are coming. So that is also a very important part of our roadmap. And lastly, we try to bridge that by alternative fuels, biogenic fuels. That's also one of the key aspects how we want to become green, and we have a clear roadmap. We have already achieved almost 40% of our goal. We want to come up with 60% at the end of this year. We have clear milestones each year, and we are measuring what we have achieved and what we have not achieved, and there are countermeasures, all that stuff twice a year, and that's how we are going on with that project. Yeah.
Excellent. It sounds like it's going great already. Roman, you mentioned that you were talking about nearshoring on stage, and it made me think about the location of this project. How did you choose the location for this Blocktrain project?
Yeah, so the beginning was the data. So we studied together with our customer Audi the origins and destinations of the trailers. And then we were looking for locations which on one side maximize the rail kilometer, but on the other side also allow for efficiency by economies of scale. And then so we found that a stretch of 500 kilometers in each direction, so 1,000 kilometers as a daily road trip would be ideal. So we picked a location in Hungary near Győr, where the trucks would need to take a detour to arrive. So it would be in the direction of the natural trailer flow. On the other side in Germany, we were picking a location that allowed a good road haul to the Ingolstadt side and also to the Neckarsulm side, and at the same time would allow in between a very efficient rail route crossing two borders, from Hungary to Austria, from Austria to Germany, and also vice versa, and bringing 1,000 rail kilometer into the supply chain and reducing 36 truck hauls by road in each direction every day.
Wow, it's very impressive. Reinhard, you mentioned on stage that one of the common challenges with rail and intermodal is the infrastructure. How did you overcome these challenges? I guess is a question to both of you, really. How did you overcome that?
Yeah, one main advantage was the Helrom technology. So with the Helrom technology, you're very flexible. You don't need a reach stacker, for example, at the terminals. So the terminals are much easier and simpler. And by that, I guess we were possible to be very flexible when looking for the sites or the locations of the terminals. And by that, we were able to locate both in a very optimized manner, so that we have the ideal utilization of the trains, and by that the best economical solution for both of us, I guess.
Yes, and you also asked about how to overcome problems with infrastructure, and actually we had two big floods. One big flood in Bavaria, in Regensburg, where our loading and unloading place was underwater. There we managed within 24 hours to move to another location and continue to provide the service. And then we had a big flood in Austria, where we couldn't pass through Vienna via Linz and Passau. And then we had the possibility, in this case, to actually detour via Czech Republic, Slovakia and Czech Republic, and not to use the Austrian line. And that allowed us also to continue to provide the service, which is of course key for the OEMs to have their manufacturing sites supplied with what they need.
Perfect. And Roman, did you encounter any challenges in integrating Audi and Helrom's IT systems? How did you ensure interoperability in that way?
So it's not really that we integrate IT systems, but that we give each other the data we need. And in this case, Audi had decided that the overall control tower for this project would be with our road partner, which is Duvenbeck. So then it was a project with Audi, with Duvenbeck and Helrom, to define who needs which information to prepare for the 24/7 service, which we are providing every day, but also to be always on the spot with regards to where is a trailer, on the way to the terminal, arriving ahead of the cutoff time, loaded, en route on the train, unloaded, ready for pickup and delivery. So that was a project where we decided how to share the data, and we somehow, our teams managed, because the data flow seems to work and our customer Audi is happy.
Yeah, brilliant. Good to hear. Reinhard, do you see any specific advantages of this sort of partnership, and do you think it's something that other OEMs should be thinking about as well, to kind of collaborate more closely with rail providers too?
Yeah, I guess the partnership was really one of the success factors of this project. So I guess if we would have started only with the first approach, I guess we wouldn't have come up with a possible solution, and of course not with an economic solution. So I guess it was really one of the success factors to have a great partnership, to discuss solutions, to be creative, to overcome all the challenges which we had. And there were a lot, to be honest. Yeah. So I guess the project held us busy for 2 years or something like that. Yeah. But I'm really proud of the team, and great team, and the partnership, because we overcome all these barriers by being creative, come up with solutions, evaluate it, change the advantages and disadvantages for each partner, and by that choose always a right solution for us. And by that, I guess it was possible to come to our project. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this is kind of a question for you both, how do you plan to scale up this kind of multimodal approach?
Those are good questions. So for us, of course, it's also an approach which is very important, as discussed before, for our sustainability roadmap. So we want to scale it up and also try to adapt it to other areas. So I guess one of the main challenges there will be to have enough transport volume. So in that case, we were enough to build up a block train only with Audi volume. But in other cases, I guess we will have to bundle transport volumes with other brands. So we are lucky because we can bundle it in the first step within the Volkswagen Group with other brands like Skoda, Volkswagen, and so on. Yeah, and we have a lot of feasibility studies this year and are analyzing different areas. And then we will see at the end of the year where we can build up projects and implement it during the next years. Yeah.
I think you've said it all. It's about collaboration. So in this case, Audi managed, which I think was a very, very successful project, because Audi managed to bring enough volumes for both directions between two geographies to fill a complete train. And in other geographies and cases, it's about collaboration. It could be other OEMs from the Volkswagen Group, but it could also be with any OEM in Europe, because I think decarbonisation is everybody's objective, and to have a sustainable and also a resilient supply chain as well. So this is, I think, something where definitely the future lies in collaboration. Sharing data is the decision of the OEM with whom. So to think about the right ways and what to do on which routes. An OEM could share data with Helrom as a more neutral body, or with a third party like a consultant who has an overall holistic view. And then it's possible to, definitely find enough routes in Europe to significantly decarbonize supply chains.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's a really exciting project, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do next. Thank you so much for joining us on the Red Sofa, and be sure to check out our website for our blog, which will cover more information from the event here at ALSC Bonn. And thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.